Hello, you just whistling along to the tune there, Kenny, aye.
Quarter of a bottle of red wine in my way already.
That's it, it's done. Game's over. Hey, everybody, thanks very much. We'll speak to you later. Hello, everybody. Welcome along to your Friday Night Rabble here on the Rangers Rabble Podcast. I'm not going to sit here and bull anybody. It's been a slowish news day / kind of week. It's been more conjecture and guessing. It's been my head this week has been the way Craig's room looks. Probably, I would say, is the best way to describe how my head feels this week. But please do get your comments in, get your questions in. If there's anything Rangers related that you want us to talk about, basically, I'm just begging you for content. Is effectively what I'm on here doing, which is shocking behaviour, really. But get your comments in. Let us know what you're thinking. Do you know what I love more than anything? When somebody puts a comment in and it takes you on a complete tangent, and you end up talking about something you never expected to talk about. Content. Yep. Craig, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. Yeah, it's been a busy week celebrating a birthday, but apart from that, it's not been too bad. But yeah, not too bad, thank you.
Kenny.
Yes.
How are you?
I'm very well, mate. Very well. Looking forward to the evening. All this stuff we've got to talk about. You've already supplied us with content and all that. You miserable moaning sod that you are.
Well, you know, I like to keep things fresh, and I don't want to tell you what I'm going to talk about, so that when you give me an answer, it's straight from the top of your head and it's real and it's emotive. And I didn't look up anything to talk about.
No, I like the fact that you're trying to seem as if you know what you're doing, kidding on. That's a boom mic. We all know that's something wrapped in tinfoil. I think that's hilarious.
Pretty much. That's just so I can write down what I'm thinking. That's what that is. That's the only reason that's there. No, Lyndon, I don't know. I've not really spoke to Connor this week. I don't know where he is or where he's hiding. But no, he's not been on much this week. He's probably tired. No doubt.
He's not been seen since Newcastle changed that badge. Hasn't he? No, he's in a rough huff about that.
Yeah. It's weird when what in the name of all that is holy is that cup? Oh,
that bad boy. Huh?
That looks like something Indiana Jones digs up.
It's funny you mention that. I did come with a curse, but unfortunately my wife got the curse and she married me.
That is some cup. That is absolutely some cup. Right, let's start then, shall we? Before people get their comments in and we can take what they're going to talk about. Kenny, let's start with Hamza Igamane, shall we?
Mm-hmm.
It has been reported, we mentioned it on the afternoon rabble, but there's about 776,000 teams after him. We'll speak about Dessers in a minute, but Dessers looks as if he's flown the nest. He's away to Greece.
Mm-hmm.
We've not brought anybody in yet because the transfer window's not open. But if Hamza goes as well, that just leaves us Danilo.
Yes, and that's a worrying thought. Yeah, what are you expecting? I think the press are getting that bored with not getting any tidbits out of Rangers. They're starting to just talk piss about all sorts of stuff. Obviously, there will be 2 or 3 clubs after him, but there's not going to be 7, 8, and 9 and 10 clubs. I think they're just wanting clickbait and people to bounce on it and things like that, in my opinion. But I wouldn't be surprised if there's 5 or 6 clubs after him. The guy is a baller. You know, if he gets developed the right way, then he certainly is going to be worth a few quid. Would I take him right now? I'm not going. Do you know something? I'm feared to answer it because of the Leeds United scenario, where I said in the last pod that they sold 3 or 4 of their top players as soon as they got the new management team in with the 49ers, and they won the league. So we're all saying when they want to get rid of Raskin, but as Ian and that was saying on the page, I think Stuart Gilroy and I think a lot of you were actually saying, if you get 20 million for him, and then you get another 15 million for Igamane, and you're getting reportedly anywhere between 5 and 6 million for Dessers, then the transfer kitty they gave you anyway, you've got a hell of a lot to play with there, and we're getting linked with some, I would say, logical players, and the right kind of frame of players that you would want at the club, rather than getting linked with folk that's like, you know, unrealistic and folk you've not heard of. I mean, some of these players are definitely some of these players is definitely folk I would have at the club, especially your Harry Darlings and that. I think me and Lewis and that have been talking about that a wee bit. So Aye, would I let them go? Probably, as long as they were going to be fast. They're not going to waste any time. They're going to go for the right people and they're going to grab them. And you're, I'm not going to do a sure Garoy. What's the fella, the wee German guy that's just come up? What's his name again? Matic what?
I don't know how to pronounce it.
Whatever his name is.
I can't pronounce it.
So this guy is apparently a bit of a striker, and he's coming up in Hamburg's after him already, and etc. etc. So if they're sniffing about these type of talents, and your Turgeman and all that, then probably I would let them go if the money was like. I mean, if you're getting 40 million for 3 players for Rangers, that is a sharp contrast for 1 year ago. That is like seismic. So I probably would, as long as they get after the players quick enough and we got them bedded in quick enough, because that's the player model apparently now, isn't it, boys?
Yes. Well, we still have to do it. And excuse me, Finn Fogel. Excuse me, Finn Fogel. He was Austrian. He wasn't German, contrary to popular belief. You're not allowed to say his name on YouTube, but apparently you get striked for saying his name on YouTube. To be honest. I mean, look, this was something I was going to bring up later, Craig, right? But since channel member Kevin Wilson has put in his super chat, we'll bring it up now. We'll come back to the Igamane stuff in a minute. But selling Dessers, this is Kevin's comment for those listening back on audio. Selling Dessers, very bad move. He's our top goal scorer, love or hate him. He's a good player and always fit and available. Take it away, Craig.
Ian Thompson's ears are going to be ringing right now because we have this debate quite a lot back and forth. For me, there's no player in that squad that selling them would be a bad move this summer. No player for me fits into the bracket of they cannot be sold. Dessers, he's 29, nearly 30 now. If we can get back anywhere near our money for Dessers, yes, he scored goals, but I said this the other day, there's no guarantee if they hold on to Dessers and he doesn't fit the Russell Martin system, there's no guarantee if he has a bad season, you're not getting that much money from him ever again. And he'd have, a year maybe on his contract, end of next season. This point is the point you have to sell him. If the team's interested in him, then we move on. No player is bigger than the club, and the club will carry on despite whoever's there. But the same with Igamane, as much as I'd hate to see him go. Raskin, no player is irreplaceable. We've seen that in the past. Look at the players that have come and gone from the club in the past. Yes, we have to get used to making.
Have we replaced anybody since pre-2012?
But we have to get used to. We have to get used to selling players and bringing new players in. Look what's happened. This happened. Morelos, Kent, Lundstrom, Barisic, players that we could have got money for at one point or another. We didn't do it, and they all walked out the door for nothing. It doesn't matter whether I like Dessers or not. I think he's done a job for us, and we say thank you, shake his hand, go and enjoy your time in Greece, and we move on to another player.
Do you know what, Kenny? I'm seeing some comments here. The sniper, I sell the only striker who's the only one scoring. I'm seeing people defending Dessers. I think it's almost as if sellable asset. But it's almost as if, Kenny, people are going now, oh wait a minute, I've been slagging him for as long as I can remember, but he does actually score goals, so I'm a little bit worried about losing him. But in all seriousness, though, look, there's no chance that the club are going to sell Dessers and sell Igamane if they don't have something else lined up. I'd imagine for the day that this was even muted, these guys have had people doing scouting, recruitment, all that sort of stuff in the background. I would imagine, Kenny, Rangers have got a list, a very, very long list of players that they could bring to the football club, and they're basically probably starting for their top picks and working their way down.
Aye, as Craig said there, I'll never slag Dessers because his stats speak for himself. But Craig, what he meant there was a sellable asset. He's 31, all right, and if you're going to get 5 and 6 million for him, you ain't going to get that next year. So you get that in. I'll revert back to the point we just said about who we're getting linked with. Fresh, young talent who is there to be taken. And we moaned for pod after pod that how do we not see these type of players? How are we not seeing these young players when they're before they're worth 10 million or before? That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to do just now. So the Dessers thing is a financial tactic. It's the player model that they said they were going to bring in. I don't think any of us was expecting it to come in that fast and how quick they're going to do it. But I would love to hang on to your wee man for a wee while longer, we're asking. But if they come in, as I said, for 20 million, go to take it, especially if they're ready to just reinvest it straight into players and work really, really quickly, which it seems as if they are. I do think there'll be an influx of players within a 7-day period. You'll get 3 and 4 in one go. I don't think it's going to be any messing with the Americans. I don't think they're going to piss about at all. So I think there was a wee bit of misjudgment there. They were saying, just sell the player that's done blah, 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 blah. But at some point, we're going to have to sell him anyway. You might as well do him when he's a sellable asset, as Craig said. And also, we're getting linked with some real raw talent who Igamane was, who Dessers has done as a job. So it's about getting fresh. It's an evolution. You know what I mean? You can't be stagnant, and I don't think they're going to do that. And we've got, for once in a long time, we hold the cards for the price and the valuation that we hold for our players. And it's been a bit of a stone in a pond with the ripples that's come across the football world that knows that we ain't taking any of your rubbish for 5 players for 800 grand anymore. You want our players, you need to pay for it, and you need to sit down at a table with some real knights that are going to sit there and drag you through the coals for what you want them for and why. It's amazing to me, the numbers we're talking about for 31-year-olds and Raskins and that. I'm talking 6 months of a difference compared to what they would offer for them. And we would have took it with the old board. Let's not be kidded. I think it's a time for celebration with selling Dessers, not because I don't like him, just because of the fact that look at the corner Rangers have just turned. With people from the outside world looking in and saying, right, we'll go for that. See if this was years ago with 2 main strikers that were doing well. Now, Igamane scored 16, right? That's fine. Igamane scored 20. But a different comment there. The Black we'll still get Igamane, keep him, sell Dessers. It's all relevant because Igamane's the younger man. So I'm actually quite excited. About
can we know? But Kenny, can we know also just take a minute? I know it seems to be the popular thing now to jump down players' throats and to criticise and to be negative, and as the old saying goes, negativity sells.
Yes,
it just does. And Dessers has his negative points, his negative attributes, but the man's been at our football club
good striker.
He's been at our club for 2 years, 3 years, 2 years, 3 years. Scored a barrel load of goals, Kenny. Right, maybe and when it really matters, it maybe he missed, or maybe it took him too many times to score. But I think, I for one, I'm happy to sit here and go, thank you, Cyril. Thank you for everything you've done for the football club, and I hope it works out for you.
I can't agree with you more. That's all I meant as well. I totally agree with you, Martin. You know me using the same page with us. He's got his faults, but we keep reverting back to the greatest goal scorer in Rangers, which is Ali McCoist. And how long it took him to get his plaudits back up to where they should be, because he was some of the games he was hopeless. Dessers has been a fantastic servant to Rangers. At 31, move him on, get the money, move it in, reinvest. The problem we've had for 10 to 13 years is we had no bloody clue who we were reinvesting in. We were getting guys for bloody all over the place. We didn't have a clue what we were doing. The scouting network was terrible. We're bringing players in at niggling injuries hiding because we knew we'd get them for a decent amount of money and try and hope that they didn't raise its head. We don't have any of that now. So I think Dessers has been a great servant for us. I'm a big admirer of him. You can argue all you want. Just look at his stats. Just somebody opened the book. That's why you're getting 5 and 6 million offers for him, because somebody knows they'll get a good couple of seasons out of him. And like us, we'll move on. But this time we're going to move on with a scouting network. Fingers crossed it's going for the right clientele, I hope.
Do you know, now that I've got the 2 screens, right? So I've got, I know nobody really cares, right? But my second screen's got the background of the show that's on, so I can see all the comments. A wee window we're in. It tells me how many people are watching, liked, etc. I've got a face like a smacked arse when I'm not speaking, haven't I? Like, that's unbelievable.
How am I meant to comment on that? Look at mine.
I didn't realise the way that I looked when I was speaking. It makes me look like I'm quite a nasty person. I promise it, everybody. I'm not. I'm really not. Good point here, Craig Fishona, to be fair. Defence is a massive issue when you're going 2 goals behind. There's W in there, Shona. Come on now. 2 goals behind and asking Dessers Cherny to get us back into the game. Do you think Dessers would be looked upon more fondly? I mean, he would be looked upon more fondly if we won things. Yeah. Right? Of course he would, as every other Rangers player would. But do you think Dessers has been kind of hampered in his Rangers career, regardless of his stats, due to the fact that we've had a shocking defence?
Yeah, I think it does shine a light on him, because if our defence was good and we were winning games 2-3-0, you wouldn't necessarily see the Dessers misses. What tends to happen, and I think it was mentioned on one of the pods this week, was when he'll miss a chance at 0-0 and a couple of minutes later we're 1-0 down. I saw people posting in there about selling Danilo before Dessers. That would be a perfect world, but unfortunately Danilo is not a sellable asset at the minute. He actually needs to be playing games and needs to be on the pitch to be a sellable asset, and you need someone to buy him. Danilo's only way out of Rangers next season would probably be on a loan to get him minutes somewhere else and then possibly bring him back. So in a perfect world, yes, you would get rid of Danilo first because he's not producing, but we don't live in a perfect world. But yeah, going back to the defence, we do need to sort that out, and we need major surgery across the whole team. And I would hope now that the team we've got in place aren't just going to go, right, today we're going to look at a defender, and then next week we're going to look at a striker. They're going to have lots going on at the same time. There's probably stuff going on that we're not even anywhere near it because it's been well kept. But big overhaul needed, and we need quality in most areas. And to do that, unfortunately, you are going to have money coming in. This new owners, they're going to put money in, but it's not going to be an open checkbook. We do need to stick to some form of transfer model, which by selling a Dessers, selling a Raskin, helps us.
I've got to ask because it's really frustrating me, right? Is that a TV behind you?
That is a TV behind me that's going to go in the office when my office is finished. So at the minute,
Right.
It's sat waiting to go on the wall in the new office.
Right. It was doing my nut, and I was like, "Is that a TV? Is that a?
It's on a table.
Is that
No,
a
it's a
board?"
TV on a table behind me.
I was gonna call it something else there, but I don't think you know how at school you had the board.
Yeah.
Aye.
But yeah, you can't. There's so many things you can't see now. Arlene McLean, Martin, you look. Do you know what? I'm now trying to put a fake smile on my face when I'm not speaking. I genuinely don't know why, and I'm talking to everybody that tunes in to watch this, not so much the audio people. I don't know why you tune in to watch this if that's what my face is like. Not something I should be saying, right? Because I'm trying to promote the show, but I'd be raging if I tuned in and the host was sitting like that.
That's how you always look.
That's me just realised that. It just shows you that I don't watch the shows back, doesn't it? But Kevin's back in again. Craig with another super chat. Dessers 31, but we're looking at an overrated Vardy at the age of 38. Get real. In terms of ages, he's got a point.
He has got a point.
Does Vardy bring more value to Rangers than a Cyril Dessers?
Potentially, because of his experience. Put it this way, the only reason we'd be looking at Jamie Vardy is because his contract's expired at Leicester. If he was still a couple of years left, we wouldn't be looking at him. The hope would be that he would come in and maybe do a similar role to Jermaine Defoe. Obviously, that would come down to wages, so we're not going to be signing Jamie Vardy on 80, 90, £100,000 a week and not playing him from the start. I'm a bit torn on Vardy. Would I like to see him come in? Could I see him doing a job? Yes. Would I be focusing on him rather than younger players? No. So I would be looking at him if it's available and the deal works. Yes, but he wouldn't be a priority.
It might not be a priority, Kenny, right? And it's fantastic and great that we're looking at bringing in young players, get them when they're young, progress them, sell them on. You still need experience in your team, though.
Mm-hmm. I still think he'd score a barrel load, even for just one season. But you've got to think of the cost effectiveness of what does he earn? You know, what is he going to look for? And does that upset the balance and the rhythm of what they're trying to build of like wage caps and stuff like that? Because I know that Leeds are starting to go that route as well. So for me, I would still go for young, no too young, 24, 25, who's doing it elsewhere, who's ready to hit the ground running, who give folk chances. I'm not really interested in the shiny sheriff's badge that Jamie Vardy brings, you know what I mean? Don't get me wrong, he would score a barrel load of goals by
the shiny sheriff's badge.
I see like this big shit. Oh, look, we've got Jamie Vardy. He was a Premier League star. I don't give a toss. I'd rather go and build a squad that they did at Leeds where they took away the best of players, bring a squad together to work their arse off together and win games by absolutely blue-turn teams and making them tired. I would rather that than having this media frenzy over somebody who has had a full glittering career. Go to the Championship, to pasture, go to America, do what you need to do. But it's not really for me, mate. Listen, he'll score a lot of goals, but I'd still rather go for something that's a project that can score maybe 15, 20 goals, but we've got 2, 3, 4 of them, wingers, midfielders, goal scorers up front. You know, a goal from corners would be nice, Martin. We've known that for a long time. You know, somebody
it'll be interesting to see. Apparently Russell Martin, I can't keep saying Martin. Apparently Russell Martin loves his set pieces. So
Can you say the manager? Would have been easier.
Yeah, the manager or the gaffer. And by the way, I will just say,
sorry, the only thing we've
sorry, Craig, for Blue Jay, perfect advert for Red Bull. Yeah, I suppose you could say it is. If Red Bull want to sponsor the Rangers Rabble podcast, we welcome it. 165 now for a small can of Red Bull. Absolutely worth it. Mm-hmm. Sorry, Craig.
The only thing with Vardy to consider is obviously, yes, he is 38, but the fact that he came into football quite late, in effect, for his football miles on him, he's probably the same as a 32-year-old because he came in so late into football. He didn't start till he was like mid to late 20s.
Yeah. Do you think that makes much of a difference, Craig, in terms of your longevity of your career?
Well, it obviously does with him because he's 38 and he's still running around like he's a 29-year-old. So I think his football would be a lot different up here. It wouldn't be the sort of fast pace of the Premier League. People saying that they got relegated last season. He still had a decent season. I mean, he didn't play a lot of games for Leicester, but it wasn't like he played every game and didn't score. He could do a job similar to Defoe, but as I say, I think it's more that my hope would be that then he has still a few miles left in the tank just because he came to football quite late.
Yeah, but I suppose the biggest problem with Alex Jamie Vardy, Kenny, Wag was.
Yeah. She'd never move to Scotland, man. She's not going to Stoke in Hall Street, know what I mean? Just going to Burberry? No way, man. There's no chance she's coming up here. Do you know what I mean, man? She's a total Hollywood drama case, man. It'd be brutal. Can you imagine her having an argument in the middle of Socket Hall Street with somebody for Pollock Shaws, some bird for Pollock Shaws, man? She wouldn't get him.
with some women from Pollock Shields or Pollock Shaws, Kenny.
Bird.
Oh, no. Can I just say, and it's actually in the description, the views of the contributors in the Rangers Rabble do not represent the Rangers Rabble. They represent the individual views of the contributors.
A woman would constitute someone with good vocabulary who would answer back poshly. I'm talking about a real old-fashioned.
So nobody in Scotland did. I've heard the way your wife talks to you, Kerry. Is she for Pollock Shields? Aye.
She actually is. Well, no, where is it? Pollock Shaws. Aye, they're all Pollock fans. So you're only 4 off.
Kevin Wilson, it's a bit of a laugh and a joke tonight, folks. We're just getting set for when the season starts and we can all start going off on it again. But Kevin Wilson, thank you so much, my friend. Gifted 5 Rangers Rabble memberships. So congratulations to the lucky ones who got it. And I can tell you it was Nevets, Ian White, Stuart Callan, William McQueen, and Johnny Adair. So there you go. That's who. No, not that one. I could just see your face there. Nope, not that one. Okay. Good point here from, it has to be said, him and Scott and Ross are fighting it out to be the caller of the day on the Morning Rabbles. Let's not forget, Hamza, Danilo and Raskin have won now and finished so far behind last season. Kenny, does that affect the asking price?
I think it would if it wasn't. I think that's a hard one. Do you know why? Because it depends what eyes is looking at it and the potential those eyes see, and also the people who are selling them and the way you can spin it. I do think that, you know what I mean, I'm a wee sales guy sitting in the middle of them, and I don't see it the way they see it. They probably see, wow, that boy's got some first touch. He could do well in that situation. He would do really well for us. There's all these scenarios that seem to float around these type of people's seeds in the sports world. So no, because they see and they know that he's going to do pretty well wherever he goes. The boy's got gold in his feet, you know, he's just needing that a little bit more of a tweak and development. I'm talking about Hamza, and Raskin's proved it. Raskin wasn't even getting a game. Raskin had to come through the hard way. He had to grind and fight for his position. He's worked his arse off that hard. He's became, in my view, the next captain of Rangers, and he's getting into the national squad where they're now talking superlatives about him coming on and turning that Wales game on its head. So it's not very, no, the price is the price, because if you're doing it internationally, and also Hamza's getting picked
I can
up
actually see you, Kenny, trying to convince yourself there. No, price is the price.
The price,
you're not selling windies now, Kenny, right? Calm down.
That's what you're paying, and that's it. 50% off juice in the advert, you've missed your windy. What was I going to say? No, but honestly, I think that if you're crawling into the national squad and you're playing in the Scottish League as a team as we are so far behind all the time, no, the price is fair, mate.
The price is right. Oh, that's poor.
Higher.
That's terrible.
Oh.
It was, what one was it? Was it Bullseye? Here's a look at what you could have won, and it was always a speedboat, wasn't it? I don't know. They must have got some deal on speedboats. I don't know why we're talking about Bullseye. Ross Clark, can I just say, now that is a beard, right? That is a proper beard. That's a beard that I could only dream of having, right?
Ooh, close to thank you. There, isn't he?
Can I? Well, you're saying that, Kenny. He's just became a co-owner tier member on YouTube. So
I never said a word.
Yes. So thank you very much, Ross, for the support. Absolutely outstanding. Thank you very, very, very much. And Lyndon's saying, Kenny, you're far too old to be saying the word baller.
Come on, man. It's just a hard paper on. I'm 22.
Yes. Well, this is something I've spoke about a few times, Craig, right? William Noble's saying, I would keep Raskin. He's young and still improving, right? Are we not, though, in a position, the league that we play in, the money that we can attract, there's a kind of limit on the money that we can receive for a player. So do you think Raskin's hit that ceiling of what we can get for him? So, for example, next season, if he stays at Rangers, if we get him a new contract and we make it to the Champions League or the Europa League, and he goes on and he plays amazing, we go on, we win the league, he continues to play for Belgium. Can we sell him for more than what we could sell him for now?
Yeah, in that scenario, you could, because then you'd hope he would get to the World Cup.
A gamble,
showing at you hope he would have a good showing at the World Cup, and that would boost his price, because that always does when players play in the Euros and the World Cup. That is the gamble, though, because you're then hoping for a lot of things to go your way. Firstly, for him to sign a new contract. Secondly, for us to win the league and get in the Champions League. There's a lot of if this happens there. The only way that we get more for him is by him signing a new contract, and that is unfortunately the first step. If he doesn't want to sign a new contract this season, unfortunately, despite how good a player he is and the fact he is going to improve, he has to be sold this summer. There's no ifs or buts about it. We can't go into a situation in a year's time where he hasn't signed a new contract. We've kept hold of him, hoping that he changes his mind, and then we're in a situation of a Kenton Morelos where a year to go, we're getting bargain basement offers from people, or we hold on to him for another year and then he walks out the door for free. It just can't happen, and I don't think it will happen with this new ownership. I think they will be looking at it and will be making the tough decisions of saying, right, you are being sold this summer, unfortunately.
I'm trying my best. I don't know what to do with my face. I really don't know what to do with my face. Yeah, I mean, you've got a point, but multiple man seems to be, I don't know the right word to use, Kenny, right? But not happy that Dessers is gone. But the point that he's pretty much making, because I can't find the comment now, was he didn't really score that much against Celtic. Was it 2-10 or something he scored? To which somebody else has put in the comments, how many did Chris Boyd score against Celtic?
Famous one, isn't it?
Is it 1?
But you're not going to strip all his goals away because he didn't score against Celtic. And that is your scenario of when you need your wingers and your players that are playing off you to start pitching in. The thing with Boyd as well, he had goals coming from everywhere in that team. He had wingers, attacking midfielders, headers for corners. We didn't have that luxury. And go back to the old point about
Remember headers for corners. Right?
Oh my God.
And we had a successful team then as well.
Jesus. But I think, to be fair, I agree with the comments you were talking about Dessers not getting as much jip if we were getting goals from wingers. I mean, we've not really had a real winger, Cherny aside, right, because he done pretty well. for Daniel Candias. That was always my favourite. He was so direct. He would cause major problems. If we had that on both sides, he would start getting goals from wingers, midfielders, headers for corners. So Dessers would have a more of a relaxed approach to what he was doing, and you would afford a miss or two, and he scored 2, and you wouldn't care. You would just remember the 2. So
Some breaking news, Martin.
Go then.
Isan Chirai's left.
Hold on.
I saw it in the comments. I just saw it on my phone as well. Isan Chirai's
so 47 seconds ago, we can today confirm the departure of Issam Shirai from the men's first team coaching staff. It has been mutually agreed for Shirai to move on with the best wishes of everyone at Rangers. The questions were being asked though, Craig, was this a new board signing? Was he just brought in because of Igamane? He's outlasted 2 managers in his very short period of time. Did we read anything into this? Is Igamane leaving then if he's off?
No, that's what I brought that point up, that he'd obviously survived Clement leaving, because he came in, was it weeks before Clement left, and everyone was sort of thinking, if Clement's under so much pressure, why is he bringing another coach in? And that was the sort of question being raised at the time. Obviously, then he comes in and stays with Barry, and that again was a bit of continuity. The fact that he then seemed to stay when Russell Martin came in was like, well, obviously this must be a board appointment, because he's now on his 3rd manager in the space of 5 months, so almost a manager a month. But clearly, obviously, a decision's been made with the new manager, potentially bringing some, because I know there was talk about when he brought in Matt Gill and Riso in, that he would be looking at the rest of the training, the rest of the coaching lineup over the next few weeks, so that you would hope that would mean someone would be coming in, whether that's Maurice Ross or whether that's someone else. Hopefully, it isn't. I think that's already been poo-pooed this week about a certain ex-Hearts manager coming in.
It's been what?
Poo-pooed. You never heard that before?
I've heard it before, yeah. Just, never on a podcast, no.
I was trying to be polite and not say it's been. I was trying not to swear on a Friday evening. So yeah, that rumor has been put to bed.
Smoke drop.
That rumor has been put to bed. So you would hope that someone else will be coming in to replace him.
Yes.
Thank God the rumour was poo-pooed. That's all I'm saying. That is all I'm saying. And now the comments are coming in. Kerry, does this mean Igamane is going to go? Igamane getting sold? Then people are starting to put 2 and 2 together and maybe getting 17.
Mm-hmm.
But it was always a strange one, wasn't it? That, I mean, there's a guy who not outlasted 3 managers, outlasted 2 managers, and was in the building under 3. When you actually look back at all the managers that we've had put together, I know we've had a few lately, but all the managers that we've had in our history, there's not been that many, and he's worked under 3 of them.
Mm-hmm. I don't think it's anything to do with Igamane moving on, mate. I think it's just, as Craig said, his number was up a while back as well. Maurice Ross was a bit of a shoe-in. I think that's who, if contrary to belief with the tabloids, they were saying that's who Russell Martin was looking at anyway. Or even somebody said Tom was a good shout, which wouldn't be a bad thing either, to be fair. I think if Igamane's going to move on, it'll be a singular thing. It'll not be nothing to do with Chara anyway. Definitely not. I think that was just sprung in because Clement wanted him in, or as somebody said there, the board was maybe trying to get that to see if it would help Clement in any way as well. So it's definitely nothing to do with that. I think if he goes, it's just because it's good business, and that's it, simply.
Yeah. Just a very, very, very quick one before we move on. Just on the captain. I just want to speak about the captain for 2 seconds. Craig, Russell Martin says that Tavernier's going to be a big part of his plans moving forward. He's going to continue to be the captain, etc., etc., etc. I'll be honest with you, I've really no issue with him keeping Tavernier as the club captain. But my hope would be, well, actually, I'll ask you one question and I'll give you a statement. My hope would be that we're going to be progressing past where Tav is and bringing in somebody who can play that role. if that's not going to be in the summer button, we have to maybe wait until January, or even if it is another season, because a rebuild doesn't just happen overnight, then fair enough. But we need to move past the quality that Tav's got at right back. And I can't remember what the question was going to be, so you can just take that.
Yeah, we do. Obviously, for a while now, his legs have gone at least 18 months ago. He doesn't have the ability to get up and down. Not disrespecting anything he's done over the time he's been at Rangers. Every player, unfortunately, gets to a point where they can't carry on in that role, and their role either has to adapt, or they get moved on and someone else replaces them. I think reading the manager's comments a bit more than the sort of headline of Russell Martin wants James Tavernier to be captain. I think his comments were that he didn't see a reason to change him, but it doesn't necessarily mean that Tavernier is going to play 50 games or 20 games this season. I also have no issue with James Tavernier being the club captain, and when he makes appearances for the club, he wears the armband on the pitch. But the team captain has to be someone else next season, because I think it will be someone else, because I don't believe that Tav will be playing. I would be shocked if Tav plays more than 20, 25 games next season. If he's going to play more games than that, then his role has to change. Whether that may be if the manager plays a back three, maybe the right side centre back, which he did play quite well at this season, but he can't be playing 50 games at right back.
Well, that's kind of the end of Jacob and the Starry-Eyed Shadows point there. Hopefully Tav plays less, though, and someone else is eased into the role. Somebody that, right, now, anybody who watches this regular, right, I'm not one of these guys who sits here and goes, I know A, I know B, I know C, I know what's happening. I always tell you that I don't, right? But occasionally, very, very occasionally, I get wee tidbits of information. Doesn't mean it's true, doesn't mean it's going to happen. It just comes for, and people say, well, what's your source? You can't tell a source, right? That's the whole point of having a source, right? So you get wee tidbits of information. Sometimes it comes true, sometimes it doesn't. And just because it doesn't mean that it wasn't true to begin with and something changed, right? But what I'm hearing, Kenny, and I hate saying that because that does make you sound like a bit, right? But what I'm hearing is that Rangers have decided against the signing Josh Mulligan. From what I'm hearing, say that I've just said it twice. The director of football wants to look at better targets. So, from what I gather for that, it was a Nils Coppin scouting job for Mulligan from Dundee. But that, and again, I will always preface it with, doesn't mean that it's true. It's just what I've been told by somebody who I do trust, Kenny, is that Rangers are no longer interested in the services of Josh Mulligan.
One word for me would be disappointed. We're always barking on about the best of Scottish talent. We're going to keep doing this. We're going to keep overlooking these guys, and they go to the Championship, or they go to Italy, or they go to Holland, or where the hell they go. I watched them all last year. He was brilliant. He was a pain in the arse. He was, honestly, you couldn't get away from the guy. And I thought, that's a wee raw talent there. And I thought that would be someone in the position Rangers are now, to bring him in even as a squad player, to let him fight for his position the way Ferguson did through the ranks as a young kid, and he took his chance. I thought that was a gem. I know they've got Lyle Cameron because the deal was done. Stats spoke for itself, but I do think the likes of your Hearts and your Dundees, for some of the stats of these players, we should be bleeding them for these players, because they know the league, they know how to stop a player, they know how to stop a game, smother a game, and sometimes Rangers are going to have to win ugly. That's how you win leagues. And I just thought that was a good wee signing, even if it was just a squad player to develop him into something in the future. I was happy with that. But I'm a wee bit disappointed. I know they're saying that Penrice, I see there for London, which is a phenomenal player, but I took him to. I mean, what kind of wages are you going to be paying this guy? It's not going to be 25 grand a week.
Oh, Mulligan, you'd be lucky if it was 12 or 13, I think.
Aye. So there's a development issue right there. There's the development. You could bring him in and he might not even make a lot of the first team a lot of the time, but he might show enough like Archer did. Is it no Archer? What's his name? Was it Archer? It was the wee boy. It was in the B squad all the time and he went away to Millwall. Was that his name? For Rangers, and he got us like £1 million.
Zach Lovelace, yeah.
Sorry, Zach Lumhink, I'm Cameron Archer. Aye, Zach Lovelace. So you're probably talking we got him for a few $100,000. Somebody will tell me in the comments you sent it for £1 million. You could easily have done that as a build up. I just watched the guy and thought he was great. I thought he was an absolute terror. Every team he played, he was right in about you. He would break play up really, really well. He could pass, he could tackle. His head never went down. And more importantly, Martin, he knows the league. And surely to God, that's what we're looking for. We've brought players up for the championship and that. I think it only really worked with Gerrard. But yeah, be a bit disappointed, buddy. And it would be interesting to know.
Listen, it doesn't mean it won't happen, Kenny. Literally, it is. I will not stake my reputation on it because
you double down on it. You double down on it. It's
obviously my reputation means everything to me. Sky high at the moment. But it's somebody who knows a lot that told me.
Did he do his medical? Do you know? Because if he did, and then suddenly they shy away, there could be an avenue of a little branch.
He could be getting his pictures taken now and announced at 8 o'clock tonight just to make me look stupid.
Just tell everybody you're sorted with your ma.
That's such a Glasgow hang on it. Just say it's your ma. I'll just quickly read you what Shirai has said on the Rangers website. As I leave Rangers, I want to thank everyone at the club for their support during my time here. This is a really special club, and as it enters a new era, I don't know why I don't get a job on the news. My ability to read, speak at the same time is amazing. I want to wish everyone associated with the club the very best for what comes next. Above all, I want to thank the Rangers supporters for their amazing backing across the period. We had some high moments and some low moments, but their support was a constant. It is something I will always remember and be forever grateful for. Newsnight, if you're watching, I'm available. But yeah, so that was the thoughts of Assam Shirai as he leaves the football club. Your thoughts, Craig, on Mulligan? Because I'm genuinely sitting here going, I've not really seen much of him.
No, I mean, I've seen bits of him when he's played against Rangers and played certain games. I agree with Kenny. These are the sort of players that, if they are good enough, then we need to be all over, really. For me, it also he meets the Scottish quota, and these sort of players meet the Scottish quota, which we've had the biggest pain in the arse over the last few years, where we're having to name 21 man squads because we haven't got enough players to fill the squad list out, because we've got one or two that meet the Scottish quota. There were certain games where, and we had this big debate, and I don't really want to bring it back up. We had this big debate the other night about Danny Armstrong from Kilmarnock, who was another player who, not every player we're going to bring in this summer or the next summer have to be £5, £6, £7 million players. We do have to get out and buy some players that know the league and can do a job in certain games. How many games last season where Cherney was off the boil, came off, and we struggled? Are you telling me that a Danny Armstrong couldn't come in for certain games? He would know what it takes to go to Easter Road on a Sunday at 12 o'clock and give the first choice right winger a rest. He would come in and do a job. Mulligan could have done that job because he could play at right back, play in midfield. We also need players that are quite versatile. Again, we've had players who very much play right wing and that's it. Play right back and that's it. If they're then out of form or they're injured, we're knackered. We need players that fit that versatility as well, which for me Mulligan would have done. Yeah.
Talking about homegrown players, question from Mark Doy. Do you think Russell Martin will go for Scott McKenna, centre half? He's apparently, Kenny, been told to leave. Scott McKenna, somebody that you can see. Is he a ball-playing defender, Scott McKenna?
Honestly,
is he a defender, Scott McKenna?
It's the only thing tonight has gave me an absolute migraine. Absolutely no way, man. He's like, I don't know, it's like a bit of chipboard with legs, man. The guy can't turn, and
with legs.
He's just the neck doesn't move and all that. No.
What does that mean for me then? If he's
I
a
don't
chip
know.
ball
You don't like me to start, do you? But no, he's no good enough, mate. You see him getting caught out in the Scotland games quite a fair bit with a nippy winger or a nippy striker that can move on with both feet. He's not really got the capability to spin on an axle and get to wherever it's been. He's just a big lump that goes through folk. I'm sorry, but that's not exactly the Russell Martin portfolio I saw with your Southamptons and your MK Dons.
The Russell what?
Eh?
The Russell what? Oh, you got it that time, they borrow first time.
I had to phone Gilroy. Just tell me how to say it. He's no the right kind of player that he goes for in defence. He wants guys that can get it in the ground, play it out, and tough in there. But I think he's got a few bloopers in him. So it wouldn't be for me, mate. Not a chance.
Nah, no. And the thing that breaks my heart the most, and regular viewers again, you're going to be angry with me bringing this up, but I'll love to tell you, I told you so. Lennon Miller is leaving Scotland. I told you so. I've been telling you for a year and a half. Why don't Rangers just give me a job as a scout? I mean, I would only scout one player, but they could quite easily give me a job as a scout. Right, we've got a super chat, another one for Kevin Wilson. Thank you very much, Kev. Tav's been a great player, and it's not his fault we didn't win more trophies. It's a team effort, and his goals and assists. Wow. Craig, Tav, not his fault.
No, of course, he is one player, and as I said, we can. There is always a possibility that you can acknowledge what he's done in the past, and also acknowledge that it's time for him to move on, or time for us to move on from James Tavernier. Those two things aren't mutually exclusive. You can't. It's not like you got to do one or the other. And I've said for a while that Tab's goals and assists for a long time masked the deficiencies he had in his game. So often we played to his strengths, defending was sort of left to other people to do. Unfortunately, as his goals and assists have dried up over the last year or so, then the question can be asked: what does he then offer to the team once his goals and assists go?
Yeah, well, we're kind of seeing what he offers to the team when the goals and assists go. I know it's awfully cutthroat, and it's you were a top goal scorer in the Europa League. You've scored over 100 goals. You've got X amount of assists, but now you can't do it. Bye bye. But I suppose that's football.
That's football. Sir Alex Ferguson made that a career for years with Man United. He got rid of. Look at all the players he got rid of every single year: Stam, Beckham, Cantona. Got rid of them all.
Who was the Ronaldo when he went to Real Madrid? Any further info on a possible? This is odd, Bob. Sorry for people listening back in the audio. Any further info on possible Sima coming back? Saw that the other day. Would like to see him. Look, no. I mean, I'm sticking my neck out here, Kenny. Right, but no, Sima will not be coming back to Rangers. He has either signed a new contract or Brighton have used an extension to the contract. So he's got a longer stint at Brighton. Brighton will be looking for a lot more than the 6 or 7 million that we thought it might be when he was first here. Kenny, I would say there's a 0 points, however many numbers are in pi, 1 of us getting Sima. I
don't get it. I don't get why Brighton's extended his contract. They're trying to keep a hold of him. The guy isn't ever going to get a game there. Aye, cash. I get why he'll sign it, right? But I don't get for anybody that's a professional footballer at that level why you wouldn't want to go anywhere that will get you into European football or you'll play more often or whatever else. But to sign a contract to sit on a bench is bizarre, apart from if you're Bobo Baldi, who's done a great job of that for about 3 seasons. But I don't get it. 1 year extension, it says there, but well, when I sat in the West Enclosure, man, I remember I'm going to take a throw in. I thought, my good God, he was an absolute machine. You know what I mean?
Once you finished I can't speak tonight. Once you finished your point, I'll tell you a story.
Okay. And again, it's not much more to the point. Just the fact that I'm really, really confused why he would want to go and sit on the bench when he's been loaned out everywhere, and he was really enjoying himself, especially at Rangers. He was really enjoying himself to go back and just sit about and take the pay. Really sad. Wrong attitude for us then, if that's the case.
Yeah. Very, very quick story. Do you remember being in secondary school and I can't remember what year it was, but you got like a work placement type thing, right? Well, I got one, and it was in a nursery. And it was in the West End, and I had to get a bus every morning to go all the way over to the West End. Big posh nursery. I didn't realise it was all the footballers' kids. It was all the guys that like still gaming, all that. All their kids were there, etc., etc. So it's getting time to tidy up because it's getting time for the parents are all going to start coming in shortly. So there was this wee lassie, didn't speak a word of English, right? Not a word of English. And I'm like that, right? We need to take this off, I think it was like plasticine or something. We need to take this off, we're getting ready and blah, blah, blah. So she bursts out greeting, right? Because she doesn't understand me. So she bursts out greeting, right? And I'm like, oh, for God's sake. The nursery teacher's like, that's fine, don't worry about it. So her dad comes in, right? She bolts over to her dad, right? Grabs him, turns, looks at me and points, because I've took a plasticine or whatever it was after. And of course her dad was Bobo Baldy, wasn't it?
Massive.
And I had never, obviously I was like standing like for there away from him. Absolutely bricked it. The guy's even bigger than what he looks on the TV, by the way. He is huge. His hand was bigger than my full body. The guy, I've never been so scared in all my life. And he just looked at me and started laughing. So he must have went, but there's no point in me taking out this wee idiot. So I'll just leave him be. Oh my God. That was one of the scariest moments of my life. Yes. So I think we'll leave it there, folks. That will do us for Friday. Yes, story time with Martin. We'll do that every Friday, shall we?
Instead of corner. Instead of
corner. Listen, folks, I just want to say before we go, just thank you so much for all the support. It really does mean a lot. I was getting worried for a while there as everything was starting to calm down. The views were going to drop, members were going to go, and everything was going to start to slow down, but it's been the opposite. So thank you very much. The views are up, the memberships have been through the roof. So just honestly, thank you so much. And remember, if you want to help support the show throughout the off season and right into the season starting, we do our Monday to Friday. We've got a show at 10 a.m. every day where you can phone in and speak to this beautiful specimen of a man. I don't see him either, Kenny. Don't worry, I don't see him either. But yeah, and there's loads of shows. The watch-alongs will be back. The reactions will be back soon. So yeah, hundreds and hundreds of content coming. So I just want to say thank you so much for all the support, Kevin, for all his super chats tonight. Dessers, thank you very much, Kevin, for your support, constant support. Craig and Kenny, thank you very, very much. Kenny, when we finish, don't go away. I need to tell you something quickly. Right?
So,
can I just ask before you go, on your way out, leave a like, make sure you're subscribed. We're almost at 14,000 subscribers. And of course, you can catch up with all our shows in audio forum, Acast, iTunes, wherever you get your audio podcasts. So we are back tomorrow morning for members, CEO tier and above, for the Random Rabble, and then we're back on Sunday for all the members with the Sunday supplement show that I actually quite enjoy. So go and enjoy the rest of your Friday nights. Your Friday night, folks. Thank you so much for your support, and we shall speak. As Calvin Bennett just throws in a nice wee super chat just to throw me off I think you did a great show, lads. Thank you, Calvin. Thank you for all the support, buddy. It really does mean a lot. Charles, get it up, you. And before anybody throws in another super chat, don't do it, because we're about to leave. We shall speak very, very soon.